Welcome back to our channel for the love of cricket, and thank you for your support. To those of you who are joining in for the first time, a very warm welcome. Today we'll be discussing the entire series between India and England. India have managed to wrap it up 3-1. Dad, finally, we get 5 days in Ahmedabad. Alas, it was spread across 2 test matches.
Well, indeed, congratulations to the Indian team winning the series, getting into the first inaugural World Cup championship, and pitting themselves against New Zealand. So something to look forward for, and yes, 2 test matches completed in 5 days.
Yeah, that was the fascinating debate of sorts that we had regarding the pitches. But do you think it was a fair scoreline of the series? Did you see India winning the series first of all, and did you see them winning it 3-1?
Well, it was a surprise for me that we lost the first test, because generally, that's the sad part. When you travel, you lose, and when people play at home, especially India, they don't lose.
Yeah.
And with the background of the win in Australia, that was pretty surprising that we lost the first test.
By that big of a margin as well, with Joe Root obviously the highest score of the series when he made that double 100. But that's what probably made it very interesting for us and all the viewers, and also with the championship that was I would say a final goal to reach.
Well, here I was surprised to read that the focus for the coach, he says that it was not, which I'm quite surprised. Well, many things he says.
Yeah.
Which.
But I guess that's coming from concentrating on the day or the test match.
Of course, you have to, every session by session, why a test match?
Yeah.
But then
it's obvious
definitely you have to look at the bigger picture also.
Of course.
And coming to the 2 matches being completed in 5 days, and even the Chennai match, second match.
The second test.
And I wish the coach, the Indian coach, when he travels abroad, I hope India never loses, but if they do lose 2 matches in 5 days, and he says, what a wonderful curator, I'll be waiting for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be fair. Otherwise, there's no point in discussions.
You got to be fair, in winning and losing.
And at the same time, this pitch was pretty good.
Yeah, I quite like this pitch.
It's not that we are finding faults, but if you go strictly by the rules, as we say, if it gives excessive help to the seamers or the turners or any other way, there is a need to examine these things, because here you had the Englishmen really out of sorts. The selection, you could say the bubble played a part or whatever, still, you have to be professional. India have travelled in a bubble, they have stayed away, the cricketers from their families. So it was very insipid, I think, display by the Englishmen. And, bubble is one thing they might fall back upon, but I've seen even in the past, they have not done very well against spinners, even at the home ground. So there is a need for them to look thoroughly. So it's not just blaming the pitches, which definitely I feel they could have been better test wickets.
Yeah, I would say better test wickets than we saw in maybe the last 3. And also from the English side, we need to see a better quality apart from Root, and they didn't seem up to the mark. Let me just ask you, in this particular test match, what were the key highlights that you felt sealed it for India in 3 days?
Definitely, again, it was Rohit who stood out with that 49. It was not easy. And mind you, when the ball is new, till 20-30 overs, it does the most. That's why you see the lower order not that I want to take anything away from them, but always the lower order has done exceptionally well.
But
But
lower
80
order-
for 4, Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a guy, he's something special, and that's why I was raising this hue and cry when the last World Cup he was not originally chosen. This was really strange.
Yeah.
As I said in my first talk, that he will improve as a wicketkeeper, just
Yeah.
let him be.
That's true. I mean, he's had his fair share of in and out in the Indian team, and once you give somebody confidence, and you will see that person grow. That's what we saw in Ashwin also when he
No,
was out of
Rishabh,
the
as you
side.
said, which Rishabh and of course these two bowlers,
Yeah,
Axar and
Ashwin.
Ashwin, they were the standout. But Rishabh was the guy who really changed because it was even Stevens. In fact, we could have given them a lead.
Yes, I read a tweet by Adam Gilchrist, and a tweet coming from Adam Gilchrist praising Rishabh Pant really means a lot. And he said that he was super impressed by the way he dictated terms, and he's shown it at least across Test matches now, across continents. So
yes.
it's really nice that he seems to be like he's belongs to the Test level, and he seems like he's having fun.
Yeah, as you said, he is like Adam Gilchrist,
Yeah.
I remember watching a number of matches in Australia when Australia were down to 5 wickets and he would come and do the same thing. So he would take the match away. So I think there's no doubt in everyone's mind across the world that Rishabh is something special, and maybe he is one of the greats of the Test cricket in the coming
To come,
days.
He's just 23, so good luck to him.
Right.
So I think English, not much to take away for them. Although I did enjoy watching James Anderson bowl in this Test match. His economy throughout the series, mind you, was just a mere 1.92, which was a standout. Of course, Joe Root, headed the run scoring department, where he was the highest run getter. This Test match, I think, apart from really James Anderson, trying to give it his best in these hot and humid conditions in Ahmedabad, not much to write for England.
Yes, of course. I have never been really excited about James Anderson's bowling when he has played, especially in India.
Yeah.
But the last 2 series, I think he's
Improved
really, bowled more with his mind and what to do, and he was not carried away. He's 38, and it was a challenge, and he was superb in this series. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he really was indeed. I want to ask you, especially on Washington Sundar. It's because in our last episode, you were not really wanting him to be in the side, which I completely get your point, and I do agree that it dilutes Ashwin's bowling. But let's talk about him as a batsman, because this is what he really displayed and what he's really shown in the last few Test matches he's come out.
I'm glad you asked me this question, because yes, I have been vehemently arguing that it is a negative step when you take Washington Sundar. Mind you, I'm his fan,
Yeah,
His batting, as I said, he can play as a batsman.
Purely as a
But
batsman, yeah.
what do you do with this situation when you look at the balance? This is something like they knew that we need a batsman extra. So you have at 8 or 9 Axar playing, you see, which is sad. So Washington might replace, and I'll be glad, a pure batsman, because the way he's composed, with the spinners, with the pace.
Yeah.
So, in situations which are tough, mentally he's strong, he's got the technique. But now let's say a Hardik, a great talent. What do you think then? Axar will bat at 10? This is, you see, now what are you doing? Let me continue with this. Why, I'm talking about this point. These pitches, leave aside, they are aberration.
Yes, I agree.
You have to see the future, the bigger picture. You have to keep your fifth pure bowler with his mind straight. He should not be, not given the confidence.
Yeah.
He will never be able to bowl when the time comes. And you need 5 bowlers in a test match to take 20 wickets. You need 5 good bowlers. Washington could be your 6th bowler to go back to in case of, some few overs and all.
Yeah.
But if you don't have your 5th regular bowler in place and given him the confidence, like you saw what happened to Bess.
Yes. Yeah.
They threw him out of the first test, after the first test, and he looked so ordinary, believe me, like a schoolboy, I'm sorry to say, playing test cricket.
And that's nothing to do with his lack of skill, I'm sure. I mean, he definitely has a skill, but it's also how you treat the player.
See, when you have a good boss, you perform well.
Yeah.
Same way, if your captain doesn't believe in you, like, sorry, we keep coming back to Kuldeep, he's got a raw end of the things.
Yeah.
You see, you have to keep your players on merit.
No, I get what you're saying. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but these pitches in India are, like you said, an aberration because you don't even require more than 2 bowlers to win you the test matches. Whereas when you go abroad, you would need a solid 4 bowlers or even a 5th bowler that is really solid and giving you those 20 overs to take wickets.
See, India had a problem of great batsmen. That's why we had Lakshman at number 6.
Yeah.
And even I wouldn't mind somebody had to sit out a person as good as Lakshman if the team had a great 5th bowler. But because the 5th bowler has to be up to the mark, that's why at that time they were going with the 6th batsman.
Yeah. I mean, here the argument of Washington is because you have an Ashwin. You can't be having the exact same. Yeah,
he's not exactly the same, but they are both off spinners.
No, they're off spinners, but they're tall, they're off spinners, and
and this will dilute Ashwin.
See, a 5th bowler and Hardik Pandya is a different thing. It's
exactly.
A different,
I mean, what I'm trying to say is on these wickets, if any spectator, as I said, rolls this around, I'm sorry, he has a chance to get a wicket. So you cannot judge on these wickets. But if the wickets are good, then he becomes redundant and superfluous. Washington.
Absolutely, and I'm glad we have something.
I have driven the point home. Otherwise, I really respect a guy like Shardul and Washington, what they did.
Absolutely, I mean, I got it up because he's done so well in this.
That's thoroughly talking cricket.
Yeah,
I'm not talking as guy who sees a guy scoring 89 and then I'm a mercenary to drop him. Or he had a 96.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you see, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
so,
there's a whole
logic. Let Washington Sundar have a great career. God bless him.
Of course. I was just going to say that Washington just missed out on a ton by 4 runs. But he's...
nice way to put it. He'll get plenty more.
I think with the way the temperament he's shown, I think he deserves a lot. So, I just wanted to wrap up this series and... I thought it's nice to rate key players in the series that you felt. So I'm just going to throw in some players and I want you to rate them out of 10. What you felt. We'll start with the Indian team. Rohit Sharma out of 10, how much would you rate him?
I'm very bad at these rating and giving points. But yes, Rohit was a difference in the series because that innings of 160 probably changed the whole complexion of the series coming back after the loss.
Yeah,
so 8.
8, yeah. I think he deserves it. Kohli, if I want to just add, I'll put him in the rating as well. I don't know how often this has happened, but Kohli has managed to get 179 runs in this entire series. He's not had a good series by any means with his standard that he sets. Ashwin and Washington Sundar have outscored him in the series. What are his ratings for you?
Well, I mean, if you look at the series, yes, he has not done well. As I said, he is one of the greats, all-time great. So you cannot judge him on these series and compare with Ashwin and Washington. He's an all-time great. But personally, I believe that, he carries a lot of emotional, passionate baggage. Sometimes it works, but most time it doesn't. His run-offs with umpires or with Stokes. I'm not saying that Stokes was right in what he said to Siraj or what. Get the umpire involved. And this probably played, in the back
On his mind, yeah.
on his mind. And this is what, sometimes, yes, it lifts you, but I'm old school thought. You don't need, as a captain, you have to have calmness around you, and that creates a good atmosphere. Yes, you can drive people sometimes with your passion, but as a captain, you have to see what gels for each and every person individually.
Okay, so his rating out of 10.
Well, he was poor. He was very poor. I mean, Moyne got him, and then he got to Stokes. You can say 4.
Yeah, by his standards, yeah, I think so. Let's quickly get in your thoughts and ratings on Rahane and Pujara.
Pujara also, to be honest, failed. I expected a lot better because he's studious and he kept on failing to that left arm.
Exactly.
So that surprised me. I'm a big fan of Pujara because I thought he will work him out.
Yeah, apart from the 170 that he started off the series with.
Yeah. And about Rahane, I mean, what shall I rate Pujara? 5. He had a good innings also. Rahane, I have told you before that it's not easy after the high and the captaincy and winning and coming back and trying to settle down. It was a tough series for Rahane, and I expected it because,
of what he is
I
carried
feel,
through.
as analyzing him in a psychological way, but he'll get back to his better ways when he's away. That's what his record also shows.
Yeah.
So I always fight for Rahane because of his sincerity, and his sincerity will always keep him above water.
So, how much would you rate him?
Well, same, about 5.
About 5. I think he did play a good crucial 60 odd.
Yes, that's right.
And a couple of knocks he took on the bowlers, which was required on this wicket.
Yes,
Maybe
even
cameos
that
of
last
20
27
or
or
30.
something, yeah.
Yeah. Rishabh Pant.
I think you have to give him 9.
Yeah. I have a stat. I mean, I was reading about his stats even this series. He's probably the third highest scorer after Rohit and Root. And of course, what we know about Rishabh Pant is his strike rate. He was striking at about 82. And I think this is where we look at Gilchrist comparison to Rishabh Pant. And Gilchrist, over the years, I mean, at least growing up, I hadn't really seen him play, unnecessary or not percentage shots. He is attacking, but he knows when to attack and how to drive the game. And this is what I really liked about Rishabh Pant since the Australian series. He's not really gone for it just because he wanted to go for it. He's really played with the situation. And that's something which I want to take out Rohit's reference in Australia, where he says that this is the way I play. Yes, this is the way people play. But, I mean, with the experience, you'd expect to play the situation as well. We all know the abilities, but playing the situation, I think, really matters.
Well, Rishabh would be very wise to study the way Gilchrist played. And as you said, it is the matter of percentages in cricket.
Yeah.
Rohit, I think there was more being in a corner or being cornered that he blurted out. I know he's a serious guy.
Yeah,
he takes it easy, like I suggested for Gill also.
Yeah, you mentioned about Gill. So what about Gill's rating in this series? A bit disappointing, I believe.
Absolutely. 3.
Yeah, I think he's looked very, very lazy in his approach. Coming to the bowlers, of course, I don't think I really have to talk much about Ashwin and Axar.
Well, Axar 12.
Yeah, that's true.
Ashwin 11.
Yeah, I mean,
as a bowler, but actually 15 to Ashwin with that century.
Yeah, he's really proved again that he's one of the best all-rounders today. Let's move on to the English team. Not too much, but let's start off with Root.
Well, Root, because of that double century, 6.
6, yeah. Okay. I really can't take too many names because with all this chopping and changing and rotation, it's tough to rate them. But let me just, I know that you might have a few things to say and rate for these players I have in mind. Johnny Bairstow, I know that you rate him highly, but
He was sadly a total disaster. So
As-
2.
I'd probably give him 1. But yeah, okay, 2. Let me just bring about,
You're right, 1 is more deserving.
yeah,
Okay.
Lawrence.
Well, I saw a little bit of him playing in Sri Lanka, and then in this last match, he came up with nearly 250s. So he can play spin better, and I don't know why Root never used him. They say he was off spin. So anyway, I would rate him as 4.
4. Crawley came in the side last 2 tests.
Crawley played a wonderful innings. That's it. After that, he just flattered to deceive, as they say.
Yeah.
So 3.
I'll come back to the opener, Sibley, who I think played all the test matches. What about Sibley?
Sibley, was known for his, in Sri Lanka, he did bat, he did give resolve and all, but no, he was not up to the challenge. So 2.
2. That's quite harsh, I think. But yeah, I mean, maybe maximum 3 I would give. Let's get to Stokes, who was supposed to be, the one to look out for, and
The biggest disappointment for me, because of the expectation, he didn't seem to be there.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
He didn't
couple
seem,
of
yeah.
50s he had. The first innings he played well, but
Yeah.
his bowling till this last, maybe there was something wrong with him. So he was a big, huge disappointment. So considering that, I'll just give him 4.
Yeah, I think for me, his series honestly was the first 3, which I would give him maybe just 3. And then for this last match, I could really see him putting a lot of effort in his bowling, which, to me, it was, too late to be coming in,
Well, without that Rishabh Pant's innings, maybe his effort would have been much more
Yeah.
valued. But unfortunately,
Yeah. Let's get to the spinners who, on these pitches, should have performed better, I think. Let's go with Jack Leach, who played all the test matches.
to be honest, I was not impressed. That's why very first match I said that I don't think there is much confidence, and they even Jack, he got wickets, but he was not consistent in pitching. I know Axar is brilliant in that, but still, his field placings or the way the pitch was assisting, he could have been much better.
I think when we think of the guys who have, preceded him, Monty Panesar comes to mind. He was way more probing.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
way more
course.
probing as
Of
his line
course.
and length.
And of course, Derek Underwood was one of the finest left-armers, but
Okay.
he was of a different type, but he was right there, right there among the top spinners in the world, Lance Gibbs, Derek Underwood. So he didn't, Jack.
So, Jack, what?
Well, 4.
4. Tough to rate Bess also. I think he's had very weird series,
No, 2.
Yeah. His last, his 4th test match was pretty ordinary.
2.
And let's get to Jimmy Anderson.
Well, 7.
7. Broad, who went wicketless in the entire series, he just bowled 26 overs, but
No, he was like
Nothing.
Stokes, not there. 3.
yeah. Ollie Stone, I think you were impressed with him at least.
I was shocked that they did not pursue with him. He gave a lot of him. He was quick. He hastened the batsman. I would give him 6.
Okay. Archer, someone who you look forward to, but
Well,
got
he
injured in
was
between.
not fit. He did provide that,
Extra
that
X
fear
factor.
factor or the X factor. And unfortunately, you can't rate him because he was not fit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he was good.
And just a quick word on Moeen Ali and also Ben Fox.
Moeen was again badly handled.
Yeah.
I like Moeen as a batsman. I like him as a bowler. He doesn't look to be that good or rated that well, but he is very good.
Yeah. He's underrated, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And how much would you give him? I know it's just one test
Five,
match, but
five,
I think he had a
five.
pretty decent test match.
5.
Ben Fowkes.
Again, to be honest, I felt after that display of batting, I think he's a very good wicketkeeper. He had a little bit of downs later, but he'll be one of the topmost wicketkeepers. I liked his batting also in that one inning he showed. This is where I did not like Root's captaincy. He should have pushed him ahead in situations. There were chances where he could have gone ahead. 4, I will rate him.
4. I think fair enough. Fair enough. So that's, I think, done with the ratings. Let's give some appreciation for the umpiring also in these conditions.
Yeah, Nitin Menon was wonderful. There were
Yeah.
tough calls to make with the spin, taking sharp turn
Yeah.
and bat pad. These things always happen. Then
Yeah.
Nitin was really excellent.
But yes, overall, I think they were pretty good.
Some third umpire issues were there, but
Yes.
to be honest, it is not really communicated the rules also. The captain
Yeah.
doesn't know what he should ask.
Yeah.
There's a lot
There's still
between
a lot
the
of
lines.
there's still a lot of things to, I think,
They have to
more clear
fine tune
upon.
about these DRS.
Yes, yes. Okay, I think let's wrap it up. I just want to say that I think England would be kicking themselves because to me, if they really did not go ahead with this rotation and chopping and changing, they had the advantage. They put India on the back foot in the first test match. They won by a huge margin. I think that they would be really kicking themselves. I felt that they had a decent side who could really compete. If not 2-all, then they could have even beaten us, especially after winning the first test. But I think this has really let them down, the whole chopping and changing. So it's a good series for India to come back losing. I think Kohli was in a lot of pressure after the first game that we lost. So looking at it from there, I think we've done pretty well to beat England, and England just crumbled in all of this. Whether it's the pitches, whether it's the bubble that they're in, but as the Test series progressed, the lack of skill just was on display for England, which is sad. I would say India deserved to be in the finals there in the World Test Championship.
Sure.
There have been debate about whether New Zealand deserved to be there, but hey, we have a system now. Let's just go with it. So I'm excited to see India versus New Zealand at Lord's. It's going to be happening in June, and it's nice that it's a neutral ground. So no home.
I don't know who will be the curator.
Yeah.
Shastri will be working on this.
Yeah.
Now,
that's gonna be
speaking
interesting.
some points about the English team, they were actually disappointing because they have had a very good run. They have beaten a lot of teams when they have traveled
Yeah.
also. So, but they were not there. Rotation, selection policies, captaincies
Captaincy
also.
also, yeah.
So, as Peterson probably, I think, tweeted that this is the real, this is not Australia or something, I don't know, in his humorous way, that you will find the real tough team to beat. So he must be disappointed too, and really it was disappointing. And regarding, yes, whatever it is now, India and New Zealand are there. There were a lot of changes done because of the COVID situation, but India deserve to be there, especially after what they have done in Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, because they didn't travel, I think also deserves not to be involved because they gave up the South Africans. So it is poetic justice. Two good teams are there, and who knows, New Zealand might have a World Cup trophy very soon after their sad outing. I mean, of course, England deserved it also. Nobody denies that. So good luck.
I hope New Zealand, should make sure what happens in case of a tied Test match there too. But yeah, jokes apart, I think it's good. It's good that we have India versus New Zealand. I think we can call it Stumps on our show, but as we have done in the past few episodes, do you have something humorous for us today?
Well, you know, they were felicitating Sunny Gavaskar. Of course, I always remember in 71, he was 21. So England were a bit unlucky, you know, if Sunny Gavaskar would have made his debut on the 5th day of this test match, maybe the match would have lasted the 5 days.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a humor.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this cricketer, and he was having a tough time in the field, and he had dropped a lot of dolly catches too.
Okay.
And this was the final, and this guy made a spectacular catch in the deep, and he was all excited, very excited, and he was running around and, you know, putting the ball in the air and catching it back, and there were other fielders frantically waving at him. Finally, one fellow ran up to him, grabbed the ball and threw it back, and he said, of course he gave him a choices of a word, and he told him, listen, they are back running for their 8th. It was a no ball.
Yeah, funny things happen in cricket. It's fun to hear these things
Yeah.
now and again, and thanks for that.
Well, congratulations finally again to the Indian team management, the coach, the support staff, the captain, because finally it's a series 1,
Yeah.
and it was tough for everybody with these COVID situation. We have to realize that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's
God
not
bless.
easy without the families, so we appreciate that. It's a good job done by India, and that's it for our India versus England series
Yes, for
discussions.
the test matches.
And we'll be hopeful to also preview the upcoming T20, 5 T20 starting on the 12th of March, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. England are a better, I would say, white ball unit.
Oh yes, with
Morgan
Ian
and,
Morgan,
yeah.
at the helm, yes.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And you see, you know, luckily, the pitch won't be different for two teams because
Yeah.
it is on the same day.
It's on the same day.
So,
Cheers, guys.
Good luck and God bless, as they say, au revoir. in
Au revoir.
French. God bless.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.